welcome back to Reality Hub. I got Rob Ibsen in the studio here with us.
Oh, yeah. Yeehaw!
Woo, doggy. Rob's opened his beer, and I'm opening mine. Oh, yeah. We got a shout out there to Will Wallace, who left his beers behind from last time. Okay.
I feel like I've got a different co-host sitting next to me. What's happened here?
Well, Rob, I'm choosing my struggle. I'm choosing my struggle, my friend.
Because life can be a bitch.
So can my girlfriend. Shout out to Bridget.
Can't believe you just said that. But
she's such a good woman. So I believe it was Immanuel Kant who said to be satisfied in life, we need something to do, something to love, and something to hope for. Hang on, they're clapping. Yeah, did you hear that bit? It was quite good.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Anyway, today's episode is about choosing your struggle.
Yeah. And we thought we'd kick the show off on a bit of a light note because life can be, as I said, it can be a struggle, man. And but it's not always serious.
No, nor should it be.
It shouldn't be. But sometimes you have to talk about the serious topics, about the struggles in life, and so that's what we're going to talk about. But in particular, the ability to choose your struggle, and we're going to talk deeper into what that actually means.
Yeah. Well, have you had a busy week, Rob?
I haven't had a busy week.
I have had a busy week. Oh, there goes another train, in case you can't hear it. We're right next to a train station.
Yeah. For our regular listeners.
For our regular train listeners, those of you listening on trains, that's...
If you are a train listener, you might be able to pick up what sort of train that is.
That's very meta train. That's the end of our song. So... I have had a busy week, and we've been rehearsing, and as Blair said to us the other night in our rehearsal for Morningstar on at Hamilton Garden Arts Festival, hgaf.co.nz, search for Morningstar.
Just a quick plug.
I don't know, what plug? And he said, guys, it's going really well, the show's going to be awesome, and you're working really hard, but if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. And that, I think, is the spirit of taking it easy sometimes and working hard but having fun, because if you're not, well, then you're probably very unhappy.
He got that quote from someone.
And that guy got it from someone else.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of that.
Wouldn't be new.
Wouldn't be new, yeah. No. But yeah, it's true. It's true, right? And sometimes it takes a little bit of a snap out of whatever you're doing to create a bit of fun and inject a bit of life back into your life if things are not the way they are, or, the way if they're shit at the moment. So, because busyness can be a hard thing as well. Or it can be a good thing.
Well, we've talked about it, haven't we? We've talked about how people say they're busy because that's the right answer. I'm glad you didn't say you were busy.
Yeah,
but that was a test, by the way, because I knew you weren't.
And I wasn't, but that can bring up struggle as well.
Yeah, how you doing, mate? You well? Oh, busy.
Busy.
That's my default answer. Busy. Bye.
Yeah, and it's the busy, distracted society of just always filling up the spaces, always, distracting the mind from all the other stuff, that the deeper stuff that we like to talk about on Reality Hub. Getting under the bonnet, there's a little bit of ticking going on, and you want to lift the bonnet of the hood of the car, if you like.
Yep.
For our American listeners, the hood.
Yeah, there's a lot of American listeners out there.
And figure out what's going on under there. But most of us just keep driving, ignore it and push the accelerator a bit harder and to cover the noise of the ticking sound.
I've been doing that recently.
And just go, no, she's fine until that engine blows something.
Until it becomes a ticking time bomb.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that check engine light is there for a reason.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do in your life. You get these warning signals, and if you ignore them, what's that quote where if you don't take time out for your body will take time out, will make that decision for you, or something like that.
It sounds a little bit like if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah. That's another good quote.
Do you like my tone of voice? Sounds very earnest. It sounds like.
It does.
Yeah.
Very earnest.
So, What was that book you were reading, Man's Search for Meaning?
Well, yeah, because as I was sort of just contemplating this topic, it reminded me of a book called Man's Search for Meaning. And if you haven't read that, I mean, it's been around since, I believe it was written in 1946.
What nationality was the author?
And Viktor Frankl was from Vienna. So I think that's Austria, right?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
He's
pretty sure.
And he was a psychiatrist. But basically, the book tells about his experiences as a prisoner of war in a Nazi concentration camp during World War II. And so we're talking about the conditions, like the ultimate sort of conditions of your freedom being taken away, just the
creating the ultimate test of your inner dialogue, really.
Yeah.
If you're in that scenario, right? Because day-to-day life was cheap.
Yeah, I can't even contemplate what those conditions would have been like. But ultimately what Victor came out surviving these horrific conditions was that that there is something to be had for finding some meaning through the suffering. And so if you can identify some purpose in life and feel positive, that, in those sort of situations, just by acts of kindness, he was noticing people that were sharing their food or showing some semblance of humanity under these inhumane conditions.
Nice.
That there was something there, and those people generally lasted longer, right?
Right.
Yeah. So there was this definite kind of
what an amazing case study.
It was a case study, so he treated it as such.
Well, it helps, that. Wasn't he because he was a psychiatrist, it helps that he had a sort of a viewpoint of case studies to frame his existence, to get him out of that pain.
Yeah. And I think from memory, because he had that certain skill, he was sort of treated a little bit differently in the camp, and he was able to help other people. And
Imagine going. No, it's almost so terrible. It's comical, but imagine people coming up to you and you're in the camp with them, and they're treating you as the person who might be able to give them some insight or some levity or some and you're thinking, as the psychiatrist, shit, this is bad for me too.
Oh yeah,
but how's your day going? Gee, not very well, mate.
Yeah.
Shit, we're in a war camp.
Yeah, we're starving to death.
Life's pretty awful. Yeah,
as I can't even come up with the right words, but
just treated as animals.
And somehow you have to find some sort of hope from that situation if you even made it out there alive.
Yeah. See, I think it's psychiatry that came up with the concept of locus of control. An external locus of control or an internal locus of control is, and I'm going to murder this, but I can vaguely remember it from when I studied my neuromuscular therapy degree, which is all about the things that happen in life, whether you view yourself as controlling it or whether you view it as external to you and outside of your control. And if you have an external locus of control, you are ruled by that. It'd be very hard to not view yourself as a victim in that scenario and to be ruled by that circumstance.
Well,
as opposed to taking responsibility for everything that happens to you.
I mean, you bring up a perfect example, or just by you saying that, it's exactly what Victor sort of came up with the fact that everything can be taken away from you, your clothes, your dignity, your freedom, everything, right? Except your ability to choose your attitude in that situation, your mental, internal mental environment. And I think, we've often heard of people that when they transcend that, they can often, whatever's happening, like people that are tortured, for example, they get through it because they can sort of transcend that physical pain into this realm of mental distraction or disassociation. Find a thing that to focus on. And I think that's what would have happened to quite a few of those prisoners in that situation if they could have found that sense of freedom somehow by choosing through, I'm only just sort of hypothesizing that. But
so did he come up with these points we've made here? Like, for example, we all need a reason to wake up in the morning. Was that one of his?
Yeah, that if you can transcend suffering, then you can find some significance in the art of living. And you can then, if we can find that in our daily lives, you don't have to go to that extreme, but it must be common for everyone if you're going through some form of suffering, that you can then
to find meaning,
to find some sort of meaning, and
purpose, and something to strive for. Right?
Because it was I think that's the Nietzsche quote, Friedrich Nietzsche. Am I saying that right? Nietzsche or Nietzsche?
I don't know. So many people said Nietzsche. I think it is, but I don't know. It could be Nietzsche.
So his famous quote: what have I written here? He who has a why can bear almost any how. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Yes. So,
Gee, that's really deep.
It's deep, isn't it?
Yeah. In acting, we talk about find your why.
Find your why.
Why is your character? Why are they doing this? And then how you get to express that is more easily answered if you know why you're doing what you're doing.
Why you're doing. And that ties in with our topic, choosing your struggle, why you are doing what you are doing. So if someone's in a job that they dislike, but they know why they're doing it, and they can settle on that as having a meaning, then they can sort of bear doing it. Particularly if they have, with that opening quote, if they have something to look forward to.
Right.
And they have other aspects and other things in their life that can balance that out. I've said here that we all need a reason to wake up in the morning. So it's all about, finding that deeper purpose, or what is your fundamental purpose? And so I like to think on Reality Hub, when we talk about these topics, we're just trying to stimulate people to think about those sort of things in their own life. Yeah.
Yeah, so I try and think about these things in my life and realize that sometimes the things I do for pleasure or fun or enjoyment doesn't necessarily, how can I put it, serve what I think is where I'm trying to go in my life. But I still want to do those things, and I suppose there's lots of examples of that. I really love my Vespa. It's really fun. It's convenient. I get around town slowly but quickly. Slowly because it's not very fast. Don't require a license. But quickly because I pass all the cars and zip down through byways and in between vehicles and into town quickly and park easily and go places quickly at a slow speed. But you basically avoid all the traffic. Now, I enjoy that so much that I really want a new Vespa.
Yeah.
But when I think about it, it's like that when you really think about the things you're trying to achieve in your life, that's a fun thing. But if I go and put my effort into getting a new Vespa, I am distracting myself from more important things that I should do. Yeah. And I feel as though it's putting the cart before the horse, because if I get my ducks in a row in the right order, then when I've earned myself the right to go and get my Vespa,
right,
because I've done the work that I need to get, more importantly, prioritized, then I should do so afterwards.
Yeah.
But I think, people enjoy certain things. They just go out of their way to get it done first, whether that's you really enjoy a PlayStation or an Xbox, so you want to go get that now. And it's like, you've got more important things to do.
Exactly.
Save for, prepare for. Life is short and you're just going to go do that,
Yeah. I think it's in our human nature to take the more easier route. We're always trying to avoid the pain option. We've talked about this before. I think of an example. I remember seeing an experiment where they put kids in a room and they were being filmed, and they would put like a lolly there, or
I
think
I know the one, and it wasn't it a test of if they could or couldn't wait.
Yeah, and there would be some sort of reward if they didn't take the lolly in that moment. So it's that instant sort of reward or
delayed gratification reward.
Yeah, and I think particularly in this society, everything is just instant. It's all just available. We just want it now. But I come from this philosophy that there's a price to pay for everything. For everything, there's a balance. So if you really want something, you need to work for it, and then you've earned it, right? Or if you get it easily somehow, you're going to pay a price somewhere further down the track in some way, on some level. So that's the way I view it.
Steroids.
What made you think of steroids?
If it comes to you easily, you may pay a price for it.
It's cause and effect. Steroids. Yeah,
whereas if you do things properly, your balls don't drop off.
Well, it's like wanting the fruit, but the tree hasn't put down its roots. It hasn't set itself up. It's like wanting, the fancy house, but you need to build the foundations. You need to have the framework. You need to build.
Yeah.
I always try and figure out you quote that Vespa story, right? If you've earned that and you, as you say, but there are other things that are a priority in your life that are maybe and the Vespa is the distraction, then that's about, which I think we'll talk about a little bit later, about making these conscious choices and having some sort of, Marwin had his gratitude journal because it kept him on track, and he had that data feedback so he could see, because he was getting distracted from the things that he really wanted to do, what was more important. It takes discipline. It always just comes back to that. Discipline, hard work, and knowing, having that game plan. And that's why I say, when you choose your struggle, choose something you want to do where you're willing to pay the price, so that outcome is something that you chose and not the world. So you're creating it.
So then how does that compete with that maxim of we should contribute to something, the greater good, something bigger than us?
Yeah.
So you're not talking about the Chinese Communist Party and giving yourself to the greater good of China.
Well, if that's forced upon you and it's not coming from what you really want to do, then that's an external imposition, so to speak, that you in a set of circumstances, right?
I mean, there's nothing wrong. Like, if this is Team New Zealand, right? If we're thinking about contributing to something in New Zealand because we're proud, patriotic Kiwis, and no matter where you sit on the political divide in that spectrum, you want to help people in need, contribute to something bigger than you are. That's cool, but you chose to do it.
Yeah. What I'm getting at from this actually, when you contribute to something bigger, there's a point I think in life where you go, guess what? The things that I thought were going to make me happy, the fancy car or all that money, doesn't actually make me happy. There's something in there where it goes, well, at the deepest level, we want a sense of belonging and love, and we're not getting that from those things, from those material things. And I mean, how many times have you seen famous people get to a point where they start being very charitable and start switching over and going, well, actually, all that doesn't matter to me anymore. I'm now aligned with something, a cause greater than myself. So I'm sort of going down that path of contributing to something bigger than you, where you feel like, hang on, I'm contributing and helping other people on some level in some way that might be particular to what you want to do.
Right.
Yeah. It's sort of where I was going down.
Okay. At our deepest level, we all want to be loved, acknowledged, and to feel worthy and to belong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we do, don't we? We all.
Yeah, I mean, just sit with that and really think about it, and think about why. I mean, we had Mel on a few episodes ago, and she said the reason why she went to the gym originally, was to feel better about herself, but also to feel more attractive to the opposite sex, right?
That's right.
So it was a deeper level of, actually, I want to feel worthy and feel like I belong.
Well,
and
so a lot of people go to the gym for that reason.
Yeah, so it's understanding that at the deepest level, why do we do the things we do? Beyond merely survival and paying the bills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's true. I often say we all want to be liked, but I think that's just that's just the Diet Coke of loved, isn't it? Really, we all want to be loved.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people who say they don't want to be loved, I think are often full of it. I think we all feel a real sense of warmth when you know that you're loved, and it helps find purpose in life. It helps us align to and choose things that give us that prior point of finding something bigger and greater to be part of, to contribute to. And sometimes it comes from family, because your family love you, so you want to be, that's a little bit bigger than you. You can go bigger than that again, and there are layers and there are levels. But yeah, at our deepest level, we all want to be loved and to feel worthy and to belong. And people find that in belonging in work.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, work's a funny one, because then if you lose your job, it just seems so very unfulfilling to suddenly have invested your time and your life and a career into something that built your identity, and then it's stripped from you, even through retirement. You know, people who talk about what they used to do.
Sure.
When they've gone into retirement, you think, well, you still hold your identity in the past with the person that you were, as opposed to having something that travels with you in this current present point in time. I think that's why it's so tough for people to go through restructures and corporate restructures, and to lose their jobs, and to find themselves out of work, because you align your identity of who you are with what it was that you had managed to achieve in your career. I remember I once had a great acting agent, and they occasionally would go through the books and cull people off their books. And I survived numerous culls and cullings. But then, at one point, I returned to study again, whilst still going to auditions and things. And I got a call saying, I'll never forget it, because it affected me so greatly, and it was around 2007 or something. And the call was, hey, mate, look, things haven't really worked out for you as an actor, really, have they? Let's be honest. So, look, we're going to let you go. And I was just gutted, because I suppose it would be true to say that at that point I hadn't made it in a Hollywood sense. But when we had the actors on for our actors podcast with Blair and Mike and Will, they rightly said themselves, and there's some actors who have done fairly well in New Zealand, that really making it in New Zealand is just managing to continue to get some work. And as we age, certainly as men, there's still more work for us. And I think growingly in New Zealand also for women. So when that happened in around about 2007 to me, I was quite upset, because I had built my identity, and I learned from this, because it was not a good thing to do, but I had built my identity of who I was partly around the fact that I had a really good agent. And because I had a really good agent, I got to be able to say to myself, well, I'm a really good actor then, because I've got a really good agent.
Yeah.
Now, as it turned out, I got another really good agent not too long after that. I had a bit of a stop and a pause and a think about life for a few months. And I found another fantastic agent who I have been with ever since. And I think it teaches you, in particular, that story taught me to be grateful, but also to find the right fit, because that agency I was with was really not the right fit. They were really quite concerned with the kinds of people who were just a little too cool for school for me, who were a little showy, a little quote unquote popular types. Yeah. And that didn't necessarily make them good craftspeople as actors, but it made them popular. And so the flavor of the month, flavor of the week sort of scenario. Yeah. And that doesn't really vibe with me anyway. So that was a good move to move on from that. So I think how you apply that in life is, if you have something that falls down from you and is stripped away from you, and that makes you question who you are as a person, then what you should really question is, why did I build my reality and my self-worth around or hinging off an association with something or someone else? And that, for a lot of people, is their job,
Sure.
I reckon, or their place in a church, or their position in society in some structure or another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. People put a tremendous amount of their identity into what they do, right? Their job. But what you do is not who you are.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of your story about what's meant for you will not pass you by. So, in other words, if something is really meant for you, you'll attract that'll vibe, that'll be a good fit. So that agent wasn't a good fit, the original one, but you could view it as a stepping stone. You could view it as, okay, an evolution, going into the next stage, the next level.
And also I've come to view that you're at an age and a stage in your life, and you can also appreciate from their perspective, they're running a business, and the most efficient business they can run is one in which their people get work all the time. And they base their business model off people who were mostly working all the time.
Sure.
So I was able to find myself an agent who cared less for that, but more had a view of, I want to support people I think are really promising. And I'm so lucky to have found that new agent, because things took a while, but things started taking off for me later.
Yeah.
And I always knew that'd be the case because I always had such a young-looking face when I was younger, a baby face. And as I'm aging now, wearing a beard and so forth, I start to get more interesting roles. Couldn't have done that back in 2007. I just looked so much younger then.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you learn from it, and you go, well, it's just meant to be. Yeah. I had other things to do in my life anyway.
Of course.
Yeah, and a 3-year degree in neuromuscular therapy pretty much nailed me, and was the hardest thing I ever did. Yeah. Actually, in terms of study and
was that was a struggle you chose to go down.
Nicely tied in. That was a chosen struggle.
Yeah,
which wouldn't be where I am today without it. Yeah, so it was worth that pain.
Yeah,
but it was hard.
And I think we choose a struggle because we want some sort of pay. Some sort of outcome, some sort of reward, right? So, and that's another thing. We don't spend hours and hours in the gym and diet and do all these things just for the hell of it. We want sort of payoff for it.
Yeah.
Or we don't stick at a job for X amount of time.
You want to attract that appropriate partner.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't stick it out in a job. Unless we're just trying to pay the bills, obviously. But, if we can do that because there's an end to it, we can take that overseas trip or get that car or something, there's that balance there. So
that's right.
And I think what we're trying to get at is if you have that, getting back to that whole sense of purpose and meaning, if you can get the meaning behind it, then you're more likely to take charge and face that struggle and get through that struggle and get that reward, and because you're choosing it rather than that struggle sort of being placed upon you because of circumstance and feeling like you're a victim and this is the way things are happening. So it's making that shift as well out of that, because we'll just segue into the what's called the 4 noble truths of, I'm gonna stuff up this word, Buddhism.
I remember you saying to me the other day, because it's easy
Buddhism.
to say Buddha. It's easy, it's very Buddha.
The Buddha.
It's very easy to say Buddha, and then what did you say the other? Buddhism. I'm pretty sure it's just Buddhism. Yeah,
Buddhism.
But
Buddhism.
Isn't it? Yeah, isn't it Buddhism that comes up with this thing that all life is suffering?
Yeah.
Right.
I learned I remember coming across this many, many, many years ago when I was really into the personal growth and reading every single book on the personal self-help bookshelf in the bookstore. Yeah, Dimmicks, yeah. Okay, I've read it. I'm going to read that one.
Read it.
And there was this constant thing that all life is suffering. So you get that. You sort of get that straight. You get that in your head. You go, all life is suffering on some level, because mere existence is suffering. You're trying to survive on every level. You go into nature, it's suffering on a whole, because in nature, it's all about survival, getting that next meal, food, water, staying away from predators, right?
Right.
We're either suffering physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually on some level. So I'm going to take us down that what do you call it? Tangent or
road.
The two sides of the coin, like that one side, because there's always the opposite side of there's joy and there's happiness and there's all that good stuff as well.
Double-edged sword.
The double-edged sword, yeah. But when you get an idea that all life is suffering, you can kind of get a hang on. Hey, guess what? Life's not fair. It's not going to be easy. So you get that out of the way.
I really didn't I didn't like that idea.
Tell me why you didn't like. Yeah, well, there you go. See, you're already whinging.
Fuck you. All life
is not suffering.
No, but I know. But
that's the thing, right?
I've come to agree with you.
Yeah,
I've come to agree.
If you really,
but I didn't like the idea that all life is suffering. This is not true. And in fact, it is. It's just that
it is,
because I thought no, it's not. But actually, it's the ones that when I think it isn't suffering. I find that actually upon closer examination, I am suffering, but just at a much more tolerable level that I'm okay with.
Yeah.
So it's just a small suffering sometimes when it's not.
Of course. And there are degrees of suffering.
Yeah.
But it comes from this whole notion of every single person in your life at some point, friends, family, will die. You will lose them. So there's suffering inherent in life. Loss.
Yeah.
You can't avoid it. Okay, no matter what you do, no amount of money, no amount of fame, status, can't avoid it. So that's where number one truth. Everything in life is going to change. You relate that story about your acting agent, right? And if you attach meaning and hope and emotional attachment to it, or it might be a partner or a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever, they will leave you or that will break up at some point. So you'll suffer heartache. So once again, suffering. So there's this suffering. I'm going on that level of it's inherent. So then it's about, okay, so we know that all life is suffering. It's just a part of this existence. But it's funny, when you really get into that, there is this almost freedom around it, because you realize, there is. Well, how can I then make life more tolerable? How can I make it less suffering? So you start going from that sort of mindset.
Or what suffering can I engage in that is most productive?
Exactly. Choose your suffering and your struggle.
Yeah.
Nice. See what I'm saying?
You've tied it back into that title.
Tied it back into it.
What if we didn't call it that episode? It would be such a waste. What's the other truth? Suffering is created from personal desire and craving.
Yeah.
Okay. Attachment to an outcome or wanting something to be a certain way. And then you put ... fame. It's like, exactly. All actors want some degree of success or fame or some marker. Acknowledgement
ego
of
stroke,
worthiness and fulfillment. And far too often, fame, outward, external locus of control, something we cannot control, is what we attach our measurement of success to.
Bingo.
To give ourselves permission to be happy. Yeah. And as I like to say, we are enough. We actually need to find in ourselves that which is going to be fulfilling without the needs of others to give their approval, whether that be your parents, your social group, or whether that be tabloid magazines saying that you are Brangelina or whatever it is.
Yeah, because we're constantly measuring our lives with other people's lives.
Whatever lofty heights you have attached as the the thing you must achieve to be happy.
Yeah.
That is your own chosen craving, isn't it?
Yeah.
That comes from a place that you're not enough, that you need that to tick the box that you've done it. And I tell you what, if you aren't feeling as though you're enough and you do achieve by luck or hard work that level of whatever that you chose, the greatest, highest level of fame, you'll get there and go, this is empty. I'm still not enough. I still don't feel fulfilled because this doesn't do it. Actually, it doesn't deal at the heart of who you are and why it is you felt that you were missing something.
Yeah. It's well said. That whole suffering that is created from a craving that you're not enough, and so you want to fill that void with whatever, or distract yourself from that void, which creates the suffering. That's what I'm saying. All life is suffering. Can't get away from it.
How uplifting.
Can't get away
how
from
uplifting, Rob. All life is suffering. But there's another truth. Truth number 3 from the good old Buddhists is...
So how do you counter that?
How do you counter it? Well, go on.
So...
selfish craving can be overcome.
Yeah, and this is exactly right. Non-attachment to outcomes, non-attachment to your expectations, which, that requires a high level of awareness and
a high level of mental gymnastics.
Yeah, getting the right words for that one.
Yeah.
Because we're attached to things, man. We're attached to our job. We're attached to that relationship. We're attached to a brand, something we enjoy. We get attached to things.
So I look at that as I want things. I want outcomes. I believe I'm a creator being. I can create and manifest certain outcomes in my life. To then tell me to unattach from that is counterintuitive, isn't it? I want something to happen. I want to build a kind of life or a career, and then to say, but don't attach to it so that you don't have unhappiness if it doesn't happen. That's hard to do. But I can see the value in both things. I can see the value in hard work, effort, planning, manifesting the life that you want. And I can see also the value in being willing to unattach yourself from certain outcomes. I think there are some things you have to go, due to my standards, due to my particular preferences and desires and the way I am as a person, there are some outcomes I'm still going to really push for. But there is wisdom in letting God or the universe or whatever your vibe attracts bring to you possibly something that wasn't what you expected, but actually really answers your need, but wasn't how you saw it. Yeah,
we imagine how things should be. We create these stories, these imaginings in our head, and as an example, we might go into a relationship and expect it to be a certain way. We go, I've met my match. I really wanted to get married and do this and that. And how many times have we gone down that path and those expectations have not happened because that person changed, because that person didn't have the same vision or whatever reason. So the ability to not remain attached but to flow and to let go of the outcome, so to speak, or the things that you can't control. And I guess there's an art to that. I just found a quote by the Dalai Lama.
How convenient.
Who says, attachment is the origin, the root of suffering. Hence, it is the cause of suffering.
Read it again. Attachment is the...
attachment is the origin.
The origin.
The root of suffering. Hence, it is the cause of suffering.
Right. Well, that could get really deep because what if you're dying And so, well, you're suffering because you're really attached to being alive. You let that go, you won't be suffering. And as trite as that sounds, probably true.
Yeah.
Live in every moment with no attachment.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a few other quotes here that I've just brought up. Act without expectation by Lao Tzu. It's a Taoist quote. The Tao Te Ching, he who is attached to all things will suffer much.
So is that a Tao teaching or a Tao teaching? But Lao Tzu is very famous. What was it? He who what?
He who is attached to things will suffer much.
Yeah, Lao knew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, word.
Yeah, so, I mean, practicing non-attachment, that's
hard,
it's
man.
hard.
It's really hard.
It's really hard, yeah.
All right. Freedom of suffering. Let's hit that one. This is Truth 4.
What have we got? Truth
4. The Buddhist truth number 4. Freedom of suffering. The path to enlightenment has 8 steps.
One of the paths to enlightenment.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because the other one's drugs, right?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, it could be a path to some other state of
Interdimensional reality.
awareness and consciousness.
Point taken.
Yeah.
But the Buddhists had this view. To have freedom from suffering, a path to enlightenment that they spoke of had 8 steps. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration.
Yeah.
I've been counting them on my fingers as we did that.
Was that 8?
It's 8.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. I didn't count them before. If you threw in an extra one, I'd be like, what? That's 9.
Do you know what spoke to me through all of those?
Go on.
This is what spoke to me, is just having awareness of your actions. It's all about having awareness of what you're saying, what you're doing, where you put your concentration, acting properly.
Yeah.
That's just to sum it up. And then you take each of those steps and you can...
Well said. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously that's just the steps, and there's obviously a lot more to it than just saying those 8 steps.
I don't have to just simply say them.
Well,
and I'm done.
It depends if you lose.
Could be your mantra.
Could be just use the law of attraction, and there you go.
And I will attract my right view, my right intention, my right speech, my right. Yeah,
no, this is more the art of living. This is about.
This is action. This is right action.
Yeah,
and that is action is living. That is making choices and expressing and doing.
Yeah,
the law of attraction seems, as opposed to attraction seems so lazy when, and I think in some people's minds that's what they hope for.
Well,
they divorce from the action from attraction. So in fact, the actions you take in life are key to the law of attraction. What you do is a huge part of your vibe.
Yeah,
and therefore attracting to you, because your vibe attracts your tribe. Well, your vibe attracts to you that which is in resonance with your vibration. So what you do becomes the vibration that you express. Yeah. No, I like it. I mean, words like livelihood, which is a way of life, effort, mindfulness, a way of thinking, concentration, again, a way of speech, a way of expressing, view, the way you look at things, the way you
your perception of reality, whether you view things as good or bad,
your intention on how you do things. These are all, in a sense, a modified viewpoint or frame of mind to push forth in the world. To exist it within. And so, those steps all make sense. I'm going to read them again. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration.
Yeah.
Concentration's one for me that is so key, because you can get chunks or chapters of your life right. You can look back and go, that went well. A chapter.
You nailed it.
And that could be a day or a moment or a meeting or a week or a month. You go, I did it right.
Yeah.
But concentration, which to me is its alter ego, or its opposite is distraction, is where I get caught out, because I can have a moment where it was great and then I can go, and let it all drop through distraction.
Yeah.
And then miss the next entry point for where you should start the next chapter from. And that is like meditation, insofar as you can have a moment in meditation of peace, mindfulness, clarity and stillness, and then drift off through distraction into thinking about something.
Yep.
And then you have to go, come back, focus again.
Rein it in.
Breathing, back to focus. And then you'll distract again. Whoa. Back to breathing and focus. So right concentration, that last one on the list.
It's a big one.
It's a big one, because you have these moments that are good, but you want to string together your good moments more closely to each other.
It's habitually getting it right. Because we're human, so we're imperfect. We're gonna make mistakes. You can't be so hard on yourself that you've got to get it right every single time. But I reckon it's harnessing you, like the mindset. We've talked about this so many times. Everything is won or lost in the mind, because the mind, the thoughts you create, dictates what you do, what you think. And if you're getting distracted, your mind is taking you down that distraction path with other thoughts.
Yeah, I really have to get that new Vespa.
Yeah, whatever it is. And I was recently caught a snippet of Michael Salinger, Untethered Soul, who wrote that amazing book about witnessing his thoughts. And he went into sabbatical where he spent, I don't know how long, but it was months, maybe even a year, just sitting there asking the question, who is that voice in my head? Who am I talking to? Getting really deep, because that's ruling you. If you go, who's there, and you're doing that in your head, who am I? And you have these thoughts, this stream of consciousness just running on autoplay. You can watch people, you can be anywhere and where there are people, and they'll have a mental dialogue. And if you have no idea what that mental dialogue is doing, saying, it's like, hang on a minute, it's having an impact on your life. It's directing you. Mm-hmm. And I think, who's listening to that voice?
Right.
Who's the listener? Because obviously,
right mindfulness, right concentration. So
you go down that path and you go, well, far out. Okay. Just contemplate on that for a few hours.
Let that blow your undies
That'll
off.
blow your mind. Yeah. So getting your mindset and your mental environment right is so important.
So important.
It's because we're consciousness beings. We're so ruled by our minds.
Get out of that toxic relationship now.
Yeah.
With whatever it is.
Relationship with who?
Well, with soda.
Oh, yeah.
With Taco Bell. For our American audience and those in New Zealand. Rob and I just had a meal at Taco Bell. Yeah, because we were just there.
I last had Taco Bell in LA back in the... we're going way back.
You show off.
No, I mean, we're talking years and years.
Taco Bell back in LA.
It was, so I had to try it again, and it was all right. I like Mexican food anyway.
I like Mexicans.
Great.
Yeah, no.
I've been to Mexico. I love Mexico.
I wouldn't want to go to
amazing.
Mexico. No, that's crazy. No,
they're so happy with...
But I like Mexicans.
It's such a happy vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what I experienced for a short time.
Yeah.
But
Mexico in itself, just to digress, seems to have the most incredible energy. People talk about
the vibrancy,
the opposites, the light and the dark, being incredibly high and low. Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I've not been there. You've been there.
Very quickly. So you cross the border from San Diego, I believe. Well, you go from the United States.
Sure.
You go from, well, at that time, the most, the number one, the richest country, most wealthy country in the world.
Sure. I think we can still call America a first world country. Yeah.
But you go from the absolute glitz and glamour of LA or whatever you want to call it, we know, right? And then you cross the border and then suddenly it's all grey and like in terms of the colors and stuff, but the people aren't. So it's like someone put a filter on like you're watching a movie and then suddenly you cross the border and that's what it felt like. Right. Everything went shades of grey. It's like, oh, it feels, but
the people aren't. The personalities are all colour.
There was that. That's what I felt was such a contrast, and I thought,
wow.
So And then you go back to like Las Vegas, like lights. It's
and
all
the people
just
are grey.
out of this world. Yeah, or maybe.
No, not so much.
Not so much. But that's what I found.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just that complete contrast.
So I understand you're thinking about doing a very famous 12-step program. Al-Anon. No? What is it on our notes? Deepak Chopra had a 12-step program.
I thought
Apologies.
he just had
called Waking Up to Your True Self.
Yeah. And once again, it's a bit like what we talked about with the 8 Buddhist steps.
Well, the Buddhist one's easier. There's only 8.
Yeah, we'll do the Buddhist
We'll just do the Buddhist one. Less suffering.
Less suffering. Exactly. But if you really want to transcend the struggle and find your true self, then you better do Deepak's one.
Deepak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're a bit of a metahuman fan, I believe, so.
I've just been listening to some of his stuff lately, just listening to his stuff that he posts on IG, on Instagram, TV, He does these chats.
Yeah.
And this just came up, but it's quite similar to the Buddhist ones about, step 1, make conscious choices. Step 2, the languaging, choose your words. Embody empathy, compassion, joy, avoid shame, guilt, hostility, fear. So you're choosing your emotional state. I like this one. Step 3, question your habitual certainties and habitual responses to food, like, for example, food, social interaction, etc. So we often get caught in these behaviors or habits that are not good for us. So it's about going back to them and questioning, is this really good for me, this habit?
Does this latte really serve me? This caffeine, this whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's making those conscious choices or questioning them. Yeah. I like this one as well. Step 4, learn to see your body as a field of awareness. So that's getting in touch with your body consciousness.
That's not even that
Wisdom.
out there.
Okay.
No, it's not even. It sounds like it's out there, but you can break that down. I think people can understand that your body is a field of awareness, even if you're not going to go too woo-woo on it. I mean,
of course. Yeah, we're a sensory...
5 sense reality, your body can sense touch, smell, sight. Within touch, for example, you've got warmth, cold, pressure.
Yeah.
You can also experience sharp and deep throbbing pain and joy.
Exactly.
I mean, touch in itself is like a 3-dimensional sense, in my opinion,
Yeah.
But so there's all that, and I've probably missed something with 5 senses, but we all have 5 senses. And that is in itself a field of awareness.
We are
and
a living...
interpretation from that interpretation.
Yeah.
So even if you don't get all kind of 4th dimensional,
because you can go into auras and seeing colors and that whole
your body is a field of awareness
and the electricity that's within you.
Yeah,
and we're vibrating organisms of consciousness, and however you want to perceive.
What was
your body.
the IE yoga bit?
Well, that was, for example, to get more in tune with your body. Yoga
helps
is a good
you
practice.
view
of course.
your field of awareness.
How you get into that field.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the only one, but yoga's so common, eh? I think Tai Chi makes for a really good physical meditation.
Sure.
Tai Chi is a type of physical meditation and and it is a sort of a moving meditation in that sense.
Yeah.
Slow and methodical and with purpose. With the right thought, with the right intention, with the right,
Yeah, I did Tai Chi for a couple of years in my teenage years.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, it was very much about breath, your center, and then those movements, which actually a lot of those movements were offensive or defensive martial arts movements slowed down. When you sped them up, they became blocks. Mostly defensive, not so much. There were the odd sort of punches or kicks. Yeah.
Right.
So that's what I remember.
Okay.
So it's like slow motion.
We should put Conor McGregor against a Tai Chi master.
Well, the Tai Chi master would have to speed up those movements and
probably,
and then
Yeah.
to match
Yeah.
that dynamic.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
I do.
Yeah,
I can imagine that. I can see that. Step 5, be immune to criticism, but open to feedback. Yeah. Far too many people are sensitive to criticism.
It's like an attack
or
on
feedback that they choose to view as criticism, which is unfortunate because then, you think, well, it didn't necessarily need to be that way. It's just feedback.
Deepak, on his talks, he starts his IG or Facebook live talk, and he says, if you'd like to join me on this chat, please comment, criticize me. He says that. Give feedback. He says he doesn't mind that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
But criticism,
he's open to it. Yeah.
Criticism done the appropriate way.
Yeah. Because it's helpful, but he doesn't view it as criticism.
Criticize me. He didn't say troll me.
Yeah. Like if because he doesn't take it personally, which is a good thing. He can discern what's personal and what's not.
Yeah.
From a more, if someone's criticizing, there's an aspect of their being that they're just reflecting back. But if you're giving feedback, you're coming from a different place. It's the way I view it.
Well, it's still an aspect of their being.
But I guess it's
one
intention.
can be self-destructive and the other's well-intended. Yes, exactly.
It's just the intention. It's just the intention. Like if you're just criticizing, like, oh, you're full of shit. Like, well, okay. Yeah. That's not very constructive. But if you say, please explain what you were talking about with fields of awareness because I don't understand that, that's critical feedback, so to speak.
Indeed. Yeah. What was the other one we were looking at there? Be a silent. This is step 6, right?
Yeah.
This is a 12-step program with Deepak. Step 6. Be a silent witness or non-judgmental to your inner dialogue.
We were just covering that off, weren't we, about the voice in your head?
Just listening to it now. It's got nothing to say.
This is
not
good.
very helpful for a podcast, but still we are relaxed, and that's good.
Awareness of your inner dialogue,
Yeah, no, that's important. No, I certainly have a lot of inner dialogue.
We
that's
all do.
hard, man. Silent witness or non-judgmental to your inner dialogue. Oh, that's really turning the other cheek. Yeah, your inner dialogue says, you useless bastard. I say to my inner dialogue, I choose not to judge you, my friend. I turn the other cheek. That's hard because otherwise you go, oh, yeah, I am, or no, I'm not, or you're affected by these thoughts that are more often than not programming. Other people's thoughts, they came from elsewhere and they were implanted in you, about how you should be, look, appear, behave, what is good, what is valuable, what isn't.
I mean, how many people out there listening are their own worst critic? It's all happening inside your head.
Just 2 people? Everyone. Everyone.
No, there's no one physically, well, and maybe in some certain circumstances, there's no one actually physically there telling you those things, that you're crap, that you're useless, that you're, all those things. It's happening all in space between your ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Step 7.
Yeah.
Observe eye movements, facial expressions, tone of voice, body language. They reveal the inner world. Oh, body language, man. That's
big one.
That is in itself. I mean, that's like, I don't know, what are those people who work for the CIA or the FBI? And
the masters of
body language.
Body
reading.
language. Yeah.
Well, they can skip step 7. They've got that down to an art.
They learn to read.
What's that guy? That British entertainer, Darren Brown.
The mind. Well, isn't he a hypno guy?
Oh, he's a lot of things, but he's very good at what he does and setting up scenarios with hypnosis. But he is able to read people, and he's done a whole lot of fake clairvoyance sessions or to an audience, which he said he was doing as fake through his mentalist abilities.
The mentalist, yeah.
And that's a phenomenal skill set.
Power of persuasion. What do you call that? I don't know a lot about it, but
well, it's the ability to convince people, I think, and to read people and to alter and adjust the way people hold opinions and take a viewpoint on subjects. But he's, clearly using a skill built from things like neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, and other things like that, which are carefully studied over the last in the last 100-year period. There have been remarkable studies of behavior, which have resulted in techniques like that. So Darren Brown can skip step 7, observe eye movements, facial expressions, tone of voice, body language, as they reveal the inner world. But I think for most of us, we should give real consideration to body language and right now, if you're sitting listening to this, if you're driving, if you are at work, working on a document and listening to the Reality Hub podcast, observe yourself. How are your neck muscles? Are your shoulders raised or are they relaxed?
Yeah. How do you walk? How do you hold yourself and carry yourself?
Is there pain in your hips or do you walk freely? Yeah. There's a lot of things there that go by unnoticed after a while, that they become fixed in as patterns. That slightly raised right shoulder that you go, oh, I could let that go. And then it creeps up again within 30 seconds. You go, I've got to let it go. And it's like a meditation. You have to constantly remind yourself to let that shoulder go. Constantly. We creep back into old patterns. And that's part of our makeup of that field of awareness of our body with the patterns that are and the programs that are running through it.
Because, just on that body language, it's your own body language. We often are holding tension in places and we're not aware of it until we actually tune in. But body language is also reading other people's body language. So you walk in a room and your friend's sitting there and they're slightly slouched and you can tell straight away they're not in a good place or they're feeling sad or depressed or something. We pick up the phone, we hear that person on the other side of the call and their tone of voice is slightly down, or you can read it straight away.
Strained.
Yeah, strange. It's not your usual self, etc. So it's picking
pressure.
Up on those subtleties and going, and we're all going through that stuff all the time, that flow, different states. So, I think it's good when you are aware of that. And,
Agreed.
And, because they reveal your inner world.
Actually, that
state
rather ties in well to step 8. I don't know if you intended that or not, but when you talk about reading other people's body language, shift perspectives. Step 8, shift perspectives from first person to second person to third person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you read another person's state, what effect does that have on your state? Can you still be relaxed in the presence of a person stressed?
Depends if you're an HSP.
An HSP?
HSP.
HSP.
P for Portland.
I see.
Highly sensitive person.
Okay, so which you are,
which I put myself into.
Yeah, certainly.
So you can pick up on other people's energies, and it affects you for sure.
But to my point, not can you? Is it possible? Because it is possible. But can you learn to relax yourself around a person who is not?
Yeah,
and as an HSP, I think we can. When I say you, I'm not staring at you, Rob. I mean the royal you, all of us out there. Can we learn as sensitive people to be relaxed in the space of someone who isn't? And it is a repetitive effort, I think, to remind yourself. Yeah. And that leads to that sort of side topic of taking responsibility for your own feelings and realizing that your own state is something you're responsible. Because most of the time we choose through willingness to have a certain state of mind or through an unwillingness to be aware of our control over it. So we really need to own up to that we are in control of our feelings. There's very few scenarios that we're not, I think, and many that we are.
We can either go into reactive mode or that whole taking responsibility for how we react.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, What's the next one?
Step 9. Understand mind-body proclivities.
Ooh, proclivities.
And I had to look up the word proclivities.
Yes.
Which means the tendency to choose or do something regularly. Mind, body.
Coffee.
Okay.
A lot of people have a regular coffee.
Yeah, but we're talking about mind, body. Okay, I suppose that's part. Yeah, because it's.
I think it's a body. It's a body and mind proclivity.
It actually is, isn't it? Yeah.
Actually, speaking of this, I'm just going to adjust your microphone for a second, okay?
Sure thing. Mind, body, proclivity.
I think that's going to improve it.
Thank you, sir.
That's all right, sir.
What do you get from that? Mind.
Yeah, so I just sort of blurted out coffee because if you understand your proclivities, that is like your preferences, your behaviors, your desire to do certain things, right? Am I right? That's my general understanding.
Something you do regularly.
I didn't look it up, but I think that's what it means.
You're choosing to do something regularly,
right?
And how that associates to your mind and body.
Okay, so for some people, that's going to be the desire to drink or smoke, or take drugs, or have sex at a certain time, or type of, or something. It's going to be your proclivity to have a certain kind of meal, or a sweet sugary thing, or a protein thing, or a whatever.
Yep.
It's going to be your preferences, if you like, your settings. Right? You're like a computer has settings.
Yes.
These are your settings that you adjust that suit you, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't like reading a book off a screen?
Yeah.
That's a proclivity. That's your preference. You go into my computer and you'll find a whole bunch of settings I've set up that are sort of shortcuts for me. And when I use someone else's computer, I go,
sure.
Their mouse rolls the wrong way. I like when it goes down to you know what I mean? Yeah. And so those are my proclivities. And I guess understanding my tendencies to do something a certain way or to do so regularly then gives me an insight into who I am as a person. Now, why would I regularly want to have coffee? I'm just going to make some shit up here. This will not be everyone's reason for having coffee. But I relate to my invented scenario. Maybe I like the hit of the caffeine, which stimulates, and I like the taste of it. But without it, I feel like I'm missing something in my day, which sort of winds me into my focus and puts me into that little box for work. And often when I'm on a holiday, I don't really want caffeine. Caffeine, my relationship with caffeine, is something that I use to tie me into work mode. Keep me going, go, focus. And it's actually, I've had the last week or so off because I'm rehearsing for Morning Star, available at Hamilton Gardens Arts Festival, 27th, 28th, 29th of February at hgaf.co.nz.
Another shameless plug.
I've really not been abusing coffee the same way.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because I've had time off for a thing that I truly love. You know,
because I love coffee, and I do have the same ritual or routine every morning. And I have this routine where I make my little espresso, and then I have a shower.
Yeah.
And I'm not fully awake until that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've sort of programmed my body, my mind like that. But yeah, so your mind, body, proclivity is a bit, I came up with, how do you have your shower in the morning? How do you dry yourself? You probably do it the same way every single time.
I'll admit I put my left leg into my undies before my right.
I was just going to say, you probably do that, which is nothing wrong with it, but I guess it's about understanding them and being aware of them and going, I am doing this habitually the same way. Do I want to mix things up? Is it good for me? Or because, I mean, we do need habits and routine at some level.
Yeah.
In our existence in order to get through the day.
Bridget doesn't like sleeping on the other side of the bed. Yeah.
Yeah.
She hated it at first. I'm like, no, we have to swap every so often.
Right. So you're mixing it up.
Yes.
You're mixing it up.
Yes, we must. If she sleeps on the wrong side, I just grab her and put her on the other side while she's sleeping. Over to the other side.
Yeah, that would be something you'd do as well.
Yeah.
I can see you doing that.
Thanks. So
Okay.
practice self-inquiry.
Self-inquiry.
The nature of reality.
Yes. Self-inquiry and practicing the nature or investigating and observing the nature of reality. So, that's going deeper into the whole who am I? Why are we here? Who am I? And there you go.
You're Rob.
You've been going
who
deeper
is the
and
voice
deeper
in my
and deeper.
head?
Yeah.
What was it? What was that guy's name again? Who did the asking his conscious?
Oh, the untethered soul,
Salinger.
Is it Michael A. Salinger? I think something like that. Yeah.
Now, as part of that, did he not talk for a year as well?
He went into
his sabbatical.
What I understand is like a listening sabbatical where you disconnect from your normal societal requirements. So you have little outside influence and you just sit there and you get deep. I mean, if you have the time to do that, amazing. But sort of going really
Try doing it at work when people need you on a Skype meeting.
What are you doing?
Just listening.
Just listening, tuning in. But yeah, because he was obsessed with figuring this shit out. Like, hang on a minute, what is this voice? Who is this voice?
Right.
And trying to understand that, and then that spawned, his, I think it was the follow-up book, The Surrender Experiment. He was just surrendering to it. Because he was thinking to himself, well, what if all these thoughts that I have saying to do something, right? What if I just ignored it? Would that change my life? Because they're just thoughts. Oh, should I wear the black jeans or the blue jeans? You're making these decisions constantly. What if you just... I remember him saying that, and it didn't make any difference. It's just mindless trash in your head.
Well, what was his answer for black jeans versus blue jeans?
No, that was my example. He never said that, but that just came to me. Because what does it really matter? So he was going down that whole, what's the significance of all this mind chatter when it's just nonsense?
Oh, yeah.
It is.
100% agree.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So what was that one again? Practice self-inquiry, the nature of reality. That one's not really, I mean, what you've said is all good stuff, but that step in itself doesn't sum up nicely. Practice self-inquiry. Well, I guess you have to really examine yourself.
Yeah.
And in that sense it does. Okay.
Because there will be people out there that have no interest in that at all. And
yeah. There are people who don't examine anything or reflect on anything.
Life just is, and I go to work and I call it the eat.
Yeah, that's right.
The eat, work, drink, consume, or entertainment cycle.
Yeah.
And sleep.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do. It's just that's the routine of life, and there's no examination of who am I, what is reality, and all the deeper meanings of life, and staring off into the cosmos and the universe and contemplating our existence, kind of thing. Well, Jim Carrey said,
you might do on Reality Hub. So.
Yeah. I mean, Jim Carrey said it. He said he couldn't figure out why more people didn't do that. Like, what's going on? Like, everyone's just...
Jim Carrey's ready to move on to the next interdimensional state.
I think
he's cool. I really think he's cool. Cultivate witnessing awareness in sleep. Dream awareness.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
That's step 11. Cultivate witnessing awareness. I think that is a good one. I used to keep a dream journal.
Me too.
Did you? Yeah. I wouldn't mind doing it again because I think I'm at a age and stage of my life again where I'm back to wanting to think more about what my dreams are because it's so easy to not do it, right? Look, let's be honest. Most people don't keep a dream journal. It's a little unusual to do so. And so therefore most people don't do it. I'm not saying it's a little strange, just a little not normal. It's just not what everyone does because normal is what everyone does, right? Everyone eats, sleeps and shits. We all do that. That's normal, but not everyone keeps a dream journal. And every so often, I think there would be a lot of value to reflect on the dreams in the dream journal, which, by the way, I don't remember after 5 minutes of being awake.
Yeah.
But if I write it down the minute I wake up, I have a lot to say. And then because I wrote it down, it forms itself into a new memory. And that memory isn't just on the written page for me to read again. That memory is because it came out of my hand, I've given it more conscious thought and it fixes itself in a new position in my brain as a memory now. Whereas prior to that, dreams just flit away. They're lost and forgotten memories. Now, to learn from your dreams, really speaks to just some sort of Freudian understanding of what's ticking around in your head, I think. At the very least, because dreams come in so many different levels.
I'm fascinated by the dream realm because I've had some pretty intense and significant dreams, and it's just trying to understand them, like putting the puzzle pieces together, the meaning, because it's like you're having this version of reality that you're experiencing on some level, but it's not the conscious level. It's a deeper level. And it's trying to figure out, well, I'm creating that or I'm imagining that or whatever, but at the time it can seem very real and it can seem very, very real. And you're going, what's actually happening there? Where am I? What am I doing? Which brings me to mind, I don't know if I've ever lucid dreamt. But like
in a waking state, right?
Yeah, well, it's a dream. A lucid dream is a dream during which the dreamer is aware that they are dreaming. So you have this awareness behind it.
I did once, I think, or twice maybe.
But like,
yeah.
I know that movie with Leonardo, what was called Inception, a little bit along those lines, where you can interact with the dream, have some sort of control. But I know that there are people that practice lucid dreaming and can actually be in that dream state and control it, manipulate, and actually be a witness to it.
Yeah.
So, like controlling the characters or the narrative, the environment. So lucid, which means you're awake, you're aware. You have yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. There must be books on that. I've never done that myself.
I thought you said you had one.
Yeah, it was accidental. And it happened moments before waking up.
Right.
I became aware that I must be in a dream. And so I was a child at the time of the dream. I remember this dream. I was in boarding school. I must have been about somewhere in the vicinity of 12 or 13 years of age. And I remember having a dream with Batman. And the Joker had trapped us in a web, like a spider's web.
Yeah.
And wasn't going to be long before we were going to be toast, me and Batman. And and I remember him saying, we can't get away. And I just had this sudden release of fear. And I said, no, we can get away. How do you know? Because this is just a dream. And then I woke up.
Wow.
And I felt great.
Yeah.
Because I could get away from things.
Yeah.
I was empowered. I had the ability to go, no, you're not going to get me. What that meant in the institution I lived in that boarding school, God only knows. But
I thought you were going to say what it meant.
No, I didn't spend any time thinking about it. I'm not the kind of guy.
Or maybe not at that age. But looking back.
No, clearly it had a lot to do with being, trapped in a prison system called a boarding school.
Yes, that was like
and the hatred of that existence.
Yeah, you were caught in that web, and you had the Joker was like the headmaster or the teacher.
Wow, you're really digging deep.
I'm just trying to,
I don't know who the Joker was, but nothing about that situation was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed like certain death. Yeah.
For that, I would love to explore the dream realm further, interpret those dreams. Because I've had dreams.
I love interpreting dreams.
Where I've had a dream and it's sort of manifested that same morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember telling you that story about dreaming about this girl, and then I saw her the next day, and very synchronistically. I won't go into
literally
details.
Your dream girl.
Yeah, I won't go into and it's weird because I honestly had not been thinking about this girl for weeks, so she just popped into my consciousness into that dream.
Right.
It was very specific, the dream as well. There was a connection there with holding hands and stuff, and there was adjustments in the hands, and the environment was sort of greyish and stuff. I won't go into much more detail.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember you telling me about
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
No, there was significance in the
symbolic.
dream, how she
Yeah.
held your hand.
Yes.
Like it had a code. Like the Masons have a handshake code.
The connection wasn't.
The connection of
The
of
connection
handhold.
wasn't proper.
Yeah.
It wasn't tight. It wasn't proper like you would hold a
She
hand.
adjusted it so it was.
Yes,
That's right.
Yes. I mean, I don't know. But then, to physically bump into her within hours of, since waking up. And I kind of knew it was going to happen as well. That was the funny part. Kind of thought, what's the bet I bump into her? So I don't know. There's a part of me that doesn't overthink things. Just go, oh yeah.
I
And then there's another part that goes, what the...
Yeah.
What's going on?
Part of you goes, you probably should overthink this.
Yeah, well...
And the two
isn't it
fight it
obvious?
out.
Yeah. I don't know.
I find recently when I've had a problem that I've been thinking on the day before I go to sleep, when I awake, I've had a real clear sense in the first waking moments of the answer. What you should do is this. And I had a real strong, not a voice, but a real strong sense of what you should do is this.
Maybe you're in the alpha or theta state.
Yeah. And so I've acted on that just last week, and I'm really glad I did. And it was actually to do with the mechanical problem that my car has been having. And what you should do is go to this particular place, they'll help you. And boy, did they.
Great.
And they helped me very cheaply too.
Yeah.
So I was like, gosh, my super consciousness was bang on.
Yeah, it's great when you can access that.
Yeah.
That super consciousness, that next level, I call it the all-knowing self. That's
Right.
not necessarily there with your conscious mind, but you've got to go deeper and deeper. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. What's our last step there?
Ooh, we're getting there.
Transcendental thought and experience.
Mantra.
Okay, so should there be better punctuation here?
Who wrote this?
I think you did. So what is it? Is the mantra to transcend all thought and experience, or is it
No.
make him? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Look.
Don't you? Well, it's Deepak's shit, isn't it? It's not ours. I mean, we're just saying, go read his book. What is it? Is it from MetaHuman, by the way?
I actually don't know.
These 12 steps?
It could be. I think it could be actually a 12-step program.
Oh, no, that's
that he's
right.
had
Because
for a
you
while.
listen to it, don't you? You listen.
Yeah, I just listened to his live talks.
Yeah, so
That he streams.
give it a plug. It's a live talk streaming. He does it on Instagram,
it's
doesn't he?
Deepak Chopra. Just follow him on Instagram. And he's normally doing it from the east coast of the US.
New York, isn't it?
Yeah, New York. Pretty sure. So there's a time difference here in New Zealand. So I normally watch what he records in the morning and the evening, New Zealand time.
Well, that's right, because we listen to it in the future.
There's a time difference.
Okay,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Unless you're one of those flat earthers.
Okay.
Sorry. What was I going to say? So if you follow him, he has a topic of conversation like what is reality or what is consciousness or whatever. And so one of them was, I think, this topic of, waking up to your true self.
And it's on Instagram.
Yeah.
And
he posts regularly.
And he's quite lengthy.
Every day.
Yeah. Well, look, I know Deepak will appreciate that shout out. Now go. Well, obviously, you're already a fan of the Reality Hub Instagram, but go like and subscribe or whatever it is that Deepak needs. He'll appreciate the thousands of listeners, millions that'll come from us. So just
he's
just
got a
say
significant
reality.
number of followers.
Just when you just make comment on it, Reality Hub sent me here. Yeah,
But he is very fascinated and obsessed with reality, deconstructing it and getting to the true nature of it and what is it and how, because we're in it.
Yeah,
We're in this quantum
field
soup. Yeah, that too.
Quantum field soup.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
and that's the
was it.
last one. Transcend all thought and experience mantra. Okay. Wow. I mean, we've had more things to say, but that's an episode.
Pretty much.
Let's save it for the next episode.
What's that?
The rest of those notes.
Because that was a lot.
That was a lot, man. That's a
to
lot
take
to
in.
digest.
And this is what I recommend. If any of what we've just said, like the 8 Buddhist
Buddhist
steps,
Yeah.
right? Or the 4 noble truths,
Yes.
or the Deepak Chopra
12 step.
waking up to your true self, 12 steps. If any of that resonates with you, I say you should focus on one thing and try and make that a part of your routine as your habitual daily practice.
Indeed.
It could be making better conscious choices or choosing your words, just anything, start off with something small and incorporate that and go, yeah, I'm doing that, and make that a habit.
Yeah.
I think that's some good advice, because I don't know. I mean, that 12-step thing is it's the art of living. It's incorporating that, and you're not going to nail that in an hour.
Yeah, maybe 2.
Yeah,
2 or 3.
set aside a couple of hours.
4 if you're slow.
No, yeah.
Lifetimes. Maybe.
It's a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That was fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, Steve. That was
Yeehaw!
good dialogue.
Good
mate.
dialogue.
Good dialogue
Oh,
there.
yes. No.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. It has been fun. And I know the music's been a little bit different today.
It's been wacky, hasn't it?
It's been a bit loopy-lala. But I'm fine with that, to be honest. And and I think it's nice to have that. So here comes that music again.
Yeah, this is not our normal intro music, is it?
No, it's just some royalty-free stuff
Yeah,
that
or
was a
outro.
bit sort of hippie-trippy.
Hippie-trippy.
Yeah. Woo! So thanks for listening to
Yeah.
Reality Hub this week.
Catch you later.
I'll let this little bit play out, and then we'll have our normal theme music. Bye, everyone.